everybody. I know it's been months. I think the last one we did of this wasn't even an actual official soundtrack. It was a cover album of Nightmare Before Christmas that we did in December. But we finally have another soundtracking episode. You begged for it, and we shall deliver. And because normally at this time there would be prom season happening, we're going to talk about the ultimate prom movie, Not Another Teen Movie, and its soundtrack of all 80s covers by bands that we like.
But you're like Vince McMahon. You need to calm the fuck down.
Okay, sorry. So, Brian, let's start with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, this album kicks off with Tainted Love covered by Marilyn Manson.
I forget what it was. I think a few months back you brought up Sweet Dreams. Or not Sweet Dreams. I Put a Spell on You. About being one of Marilyn Manson's best covers. And I told you then that Tainted Love is his best cover. I think we actually were talking about it during the Nightmare Revisited soundtracking.
Wait. You're forgetting the fact that we did House on the Haunted Hill 99, which had the Sweet Dreams cover in it.
So that could have been it as well.
I think that was when it was.
There's a lot of opportunities for me to say that
Talk
I Put a
about
Spell
Manson.
on You is my favorite cover by Marilyn Manson.
And it could be your favorite, you know? Because I don't know if Tainted Love is my favorite cover of his, but it's definitely
But
his
you're
best.
saying it's like his best. Well, but that's also like that's subjective. You're not like I have empirical data that says that this is the best cover by Marilyn Manson.
Let me reach into the file, and because I said so.
Well, it's a cover of the song Tainted Love. It's a cover of the version by Soft Cell from the 80s, but if you haven't listened to the Gloria Jones version from the late 50s, early 60s, that song is also a banger.
Oh, this is a cover of a cover, and I never knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as interesting as it gets in quarantine for me. So today is the best day, which leads us into another song later on. So
yeah. But yeah. So Brian, are there any I remember this music video, which this was like, I feel like right towards that tail end of them still doing music videos to promote soundtracks. Like they don't really. That's not really a practice anymore. But.
No. This is one of like two songs that I vividly remember in the movie. I can't really tell you when I haven't seen this movie in, maybe 10 years.
Only 10?
Yeah, it's probably been about 10, right? 19 would make sense. So yeah, it's probably been about 10 years since I saw it, but I remember this. This is when his incest-driven sister is walking down the hallway. And it's playing it. And I don't think there's actually any lyrics. It just plays the intro.
I also like that it's incest ridden. Not incestual.
She's just ridden with incest.
I don't think that he's wrong, though. I think that that's kind of the perfect explanation of I can't remember her name in real life, but she was in the L Word. And then we have, Captain America. And then she comes up and is like, "Oh, Jake," and then she's sucking on her crucifix. She's sucking on her crucifix, and she's like, "Jake, why is it that whenever a guy says, whenever I tell a guy that he can put it anywhere he wants, he puts it on my ass?" He's like, "Oh, that is way too much information." And she goes, "Oh no, Jakey, way too much information would be for me to tell you that they always put it in my ass, right? Or no, that they take a shit on my chest." Yeah. Oh, Matt, edit this so I don't sound like a fucking idiot.
My favorite thing, it's a delivery that was like very popular in the early 90s, is that they say something gross and then they just like whisper something that's supposed to be that much grosser, because she's like, "No, saying too much would say that after I'm done, I take a huge shit on their chest."
I think that you're absolutely right about that, because when I worked at that pizza shop, man, that was our go-to response to everything. Was to say something absolutely foul in a yell whisper.
Yeah, well, because then the other one I always think of is in Harold and Kumar when he's like, "I'll tell you what, the secret ingredient is semen. Animal semen."
I'm surprised that none of you guys have picked Harold and Kumar for Patreon yet.
Dude, I love that trilogy. Yeah, he did. He pitched it once. No
Oh,
one.
really?
No
I
one
tried
went.
to do a Ryan Reynolds Patreon. No, I pitched Matt to put it up. I forget what movie I did, but we were. So we have this fun thing where I say, "Hey, we're gonna do a theme Patreon, guys. Let's go!" And it's like Will Ferrell going streaking in Old School, and I just make the pick. I'm like, "All right, yeah, we're gonna do Disney movies," and Matt picks not a Disney movie, and neither did Scott.
Well, I'm never going to pick a Disney movie.
You
Except
picked
for
And
that,
Goofy
and then you picked the Goofy movie.
Oh, I did, but that was because I had a death wish that month.
This goes into a song that I completely forgot existed. It's Smashing Pumpkins covering the song "Never Let Me Down Again" by the Depeche Mode. It was a band that I never
The
cared for.
Depeche Mode or just Depeche Mode?
It says just Depeche Mode.
I thought so, you fuck.
And the cover's so Smashing Pumpkins.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah.
By boring as fuck?
But not, yeah, I was going to say, but not like the best kind of Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
If this was more like fucking
Bullet
with
yeah.
Butterfly.
We were both thinking it.
This is definitely why everyone stopped listening to Smashing Pumpkins after Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, because Billy Corgan was just like writing shit like this for the next.
So, do you
decades.
think that he did that because he was no longer on cocaine or because he was on heroin?
Was Bill? I don't know why I feel like Billy Corgan was like one of those guys that was like shockingly not that bad with drugs. I don't.
Oh, I'm sure he wasn't. It's probably because the guitar player, what's his face,
yeah,
or
because
the
I
drummer.
feel like that's the only reason I say that is
Jimmy
I
Chamberlain?
was gonna say I feel like
he was
they
the one that had the drug addiction.
I think they kicked out a lot of original members because of drug addiction. So that's why I'm like, I don't think he ever got into that scene.
I do have a love for Billy Corgan more that I went to see him play with Marilyn Manson. And as soon as they started playing Disarm, some guy in the front row stood up and he stopped playing and said, "You've sat down my entire set. You can't stand up for the one song you know." And then sit down before he continued to play.
Yeah, Billy Corgan strikes me as like, of all of the 90s grunge guys, probably the one that's like, well, we'll exclude David Grohl from this, but probably like the most approachable, down-to-earth one.
Are you
Fun.
fucking kidding me? No way.
The man owns a wrestling company now. I could talk to him for sure.
Okay, you can, but I'd fucking hate my life if I had to talk to Billy Corgan. You know, the only thing that endears me to Billy Corgan in the modern era is that fucking video of him on a roller coaster.
All right, so let's get out of the Smashing Pumpkins depressed ass shit to go to the other song that I don't think was this song was a hit before this soundtrack, but Orgy's cover of New Order's Blue Monday.
So good. The only thing that I can really love Orgy for is this cover.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I don't think anybody else even remembers Orgy except for their cover of Blue Monday.
Yeah.
What
it's
people
really
don't
good.
remember
They're-
other deep tracks on Candy Ass.
I don't know. Ask Mario. He probably does.
So.
Oh man, dude, he made me a mix tape. It was still a tape. It was a cassette tape. I want to say that it was September of 1999. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it
Is that
sounds
when?
about
Okay. It had. I don't remember everything on it, but some of the things that I remember on it were mostly covers. But it kicked off. This isn't a cover, but it kicked off with "Wait and Bleed" by Slipknot, of course, and then Blue Monday by Orgy's cover of Blue Monday, Cold Chamber's cover of "Shock the Monkey," the System of a Down cover that's on this later. You guys remember Spine Shank?
No.
They did a cover of "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" that was on there, and this other song called "Strictly Diesel." And do you got? Okay, here's a question. If we're talking about the 90s, early 2000, it might have strictly been my school, but the guys in my clique, right? We called a fist bump giving someone a diesel. Is that a thing, or was it just like rural Ohio?
That's a new one to me.
I wouldn't know. I didn't have a click.
I didn't have friends.
The one story that I have to share, because I don't know when Orgy will come up on this podcast again.
Definitely not about your sex life.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So when I was in middle school, I was on the school newspaper. because of course I was.
There was a middle school newspaper?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
yeah.
Somebody getting their period?
So the school newspaper, one of the kids did a concert review because he went to the first Family Values store.
Oh, shit.
And we were too young to understand why the teacher wouldn't print the name of the opening band, which was Orgy, in the school newspaper. Because none of us knew what it was. So we're just like, I don't know, it's just a nonsense word.
Wow, Matt. You were way more sheltered than I realized, and you lived in a suburb of a giant, one of the 3 biggest cities in America, and yet here you are.
Yeah, sorry, in 6th grade I didn't know what an orgy was. What a douchebag.
You're a nerd.
So, Scott, you already made a reference to it. So the next track is System of a Down, The Metro, which...
Originally by Berlin.
Is that who it's by?
Yeah.
Originally by Berlin.
It's a fucking great song. It is one of my all-time favorite System of a Down songs. Such a great cover. It's probably one of my top 10 favorite covers of all time, too.
Yeah, System of a Down is one of those bands that, love them or hate them, they have a sound that as soon as you hear them, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely System of a Down. Like, they have a unique sound all their own.
I'm not saying I'm a System of a Down fan anymore, but in 1999, let's say, when I'm pretty sure that I heard this for the first time, I was like, I was just in my pants because it was so cool. So, yeah, I mean, don't judge me.
When I heard Chop Suey for the first time, even as like a kid who wasn't that into metal, that was like one of those songs, and I think we ended up cutting this from an episode of One Hit Thunder, so I'll say it here. But like, thinking about the fact that songs like Toxicity and Chop Suey could be massive hit songs on the radio is weird to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, Toxicity,
chaotic, weird songs. Like,
yeah, and was Toxicity the only like charting single off of that record?
Oh, I think Chop Suey had to have also charted.
Chop Suey, definitely, and it's a much weirder song than Toxicity, in my opinion.
Yeah,
not the weirdest song on that record, but
no, that would be Bounce.
I don't know. Tapeworm is fucking weird too,
dude. Man, I love that album. I don't know if I love all of the System of a Down albums.
I prefer the self-titled better.
Self-titled, well, that's got sugar.
Like, yeah, which was a pretty big song. It was that was an MTV big song. I don't know if it was a Billboard big song.
Nah, Toxicity was.
Save that for your other podcast. We don't know the answer to it.
But yeah, man, that album was like, oh, this is what nu metal could sound like.
But the thing is that they were only lumped into nu metal because of the time period, not because of their style, because they literally sounded like no one else. And they still... Here's the thing, I loved System of a Down when I was in high school because they were so weird and punk and just out there. And I really loved Serge's vocal style because it was... I hear you in the background, listen! Is that Brian?
Because he would,
That's me.
Brian. Because he would go from like, he has like that very soft, like the dude can actually sing, but then he can also scream, and he like does those weird like speaking weirdly fast moments in songs too. Where you're just like,
we can't afford to be neutral, a moving train.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, but
dude, that BYOB is the perfect like 95 driving down 95 at night by yourself, like to keep yourself awake. It is the most fun you can have by yourself.
I feel like that's what an ex-cocaine addict would say because that's not the most fun I could have alone.
Oh, it is a hoot.
Dude. That album, the
is
album
it a hoot or a toot?
The one with BYOB has like, I remember when that album came out, I was working at the mall, and
where were you working?
I was working at a head shop there called Habitat. So he sold like tie-dye shirts and incense burners and shit. But like we had no customers, so we would put on whatever the hell we wanted. And man, the amount of times that we would have like Cigarro or Violent Pornography on in this like hippie head shop because it was just me and my ex-girlfriend, and she was my ex-girlfriend at the time. We just maintained a good friendship. No, she was the one that got me the job. She was like, hey, we're looking for help. You want to work there? I was like, sure.
I don't know, man. It's still weird. Well, the thing about Cigarro is that it's like, that's some nonsense shit there too. But that was off of,
What's nonsense about my cock can break right through a door?
I always loved cocaine.
So did Brian.
Big fan.
We have devoted like 4 minutes to talk about System of a Down. Well, so what I'll say, 2 things real quick, and then we'll go on to the next song. 1, I learned everything. I learned the entire album on guitar of the self-titled System of a Down record. Mario and I used to fucking jam that stupid bullshit in his basement in high school every Friday or Saturday night after I got off of work at the pizza shop. And it's indelibly linked for me. Like the smell of like working on the frying equipment and then going to his house without a shower, changing my clothes. My hair still smells like fryer grease, and just jamming out on my like Epiphone Les Paul to System of a Down. But then the other thing is that what killed System of a Down for me was playing shows as a metal band, because every fucking loser who wanted to have a metal band in 2005 was still playing shit off of the self-titled System of a Down record, which came out in like 99, right?
Yeah.
Or 2000. I think it's 99. I'm almost positive. But it was right around that time. They're playing music like that's not old enough to be cool again. Literally, they're just losers. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do our cover of our cover of War. Yeah. We're going to do our cover of Sugar. And I'm like, fucking, this Battle of the Bands is going to suck.
Anyone afraid of some spiders? So let's like just kind of zoom past these next 2, because they are definitely the low point in the soundtrack for me anyway. Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots
so bad.
Doing a cover of Be Not Tonight, also by Depeche Mode. What this is teaching me is that I would not like Depeche Mode.
No, you wouldn't. And I don't understand where it's like, so let's record a song, but is there any way we could make the instruments louder than the vocals, but you can still faintly hear the vocals? And that's exactly how this sounds when I listen to it.
Yeah, it's mixed. And like, Scott Weiland is one of those figures where like, I don't know why. I think someone posted it on Facebook and then it sent me down a rabbit hole, but I watched like an hour of random Stone Temple Pilots live at like their peak. And the dude was such a like charismatic frontman. And dear God, heroin just like wrecked him. His solo career was trash.
Yeah, man. It's crazy how that happened to him. You know? You'd have thought a little bit of heroin would wreck someone.
Yeah, it's usually such an easy thing to handle. So here's my thing: is the only song by Stone Temple Pilots I like is "Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart."
What? And that's I watched like 4 different live versions of that song, because I do think that is. Like, I love Stone Temple Pilots. I love their first 3 or 4 albums.
Them so much.
But I would even agree that is the best song that they've ever recorded. That song is incredible.
I love that song so much, and I don't even know what I'm singing. I'm just... You know what I mean? Just letting the tongue hit the teeth.
Shit. Yeah, no, that song is, to me, their tops. Although I also love Big Bang Baby from that same album.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing is like, what was that album called?
Tiny Music from the Vatican Gift Shop.
Oh, such a 90s fucking album.
The most 90s.
Was that 96?
That was 95 or 96. Yeah, that was right before they just kind of went pew off a cliff and no one listened to grunge music.
Yeah, I can't believe that's the only song you like, dude.
Well, here's the thing: is that there are a couple songs like "Open" or what's the
Interstate Love song?
Yeah. That song's okay, but the thing is that I'm never in the mood to listen to fucking grunge music. I hate grunge music. I would rather listen to
That's the big difference between Scott Roger and the Kelly brothers. Is the
Kelly brothers and everyone else?
Yeah, the Kelly brothers always have some time to pop on some grunge music,
dude. And it's so bad, but it's so good. You know what I mean? Like Dead and Bloated could have been written by a 16-year-old, but I love it so much. And it's like they managed to make drums sound boring in that song, but I still love it.
What's the stupid ass song by Pearl Jam? It's like, hail to the blood again. Is that them? Is that Pearl Jam?
Same old trip it was back then. That's Alice in Chains. That's Wood.
Oh. No, it's not. We're talking, it doesn't matter.
Into the blood again. That one?
Oh, that's another guy that got wrecked by heroin.
Yeah.
You know what? The best thing that ever happened to grunge was heroin. Don't cut that
Yeah.
because I fucking hate grunge music.
You know, I'm
All
really
right.
starting to think that we need to take this heroin thing seriously.
All right, so let's get into a band that has popped up way too much on soundtracking already, but Saliva, who makes another appearance on here.
Wait, when else did they show up? I have completely blocked it from my brain.
Dracula 2000, they were on the Your Disease, they did that Your Disease song.
I have a minor defense to this song. It is a terrible song, but it is very fitting for a 90s movie, especially a teen movie.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the weird thing. When I listen to this song, I definitely remember that I heard it somewhere in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe it was like during the football game or something. But I'm
Football
like,
game
oh,
was
this-
99 Red Balloons. I told you I knew 2 songs, and when they were in the movie, that was the second one.
Oh no, I remember a few of the later tracks on this for sure. But this is a cover of the Pretenders, who's they had a couple songs, whatever. But yeah, any deep thoughts on Message of Love, or should
Fuck
we just?
that.
All
No,
right.
and fuck Saliva. They're terrible.
All right, so then we move into Stabbing Westward, doing a cover of my favorite New Order song, Bizarre Love Triangle.
Not a good song, but I don't actually remember this from the movie. I don't think I've ever listened to the soundtrack and like fully until you sent it to us. But I'll say that I actually enjoyed this as a Stabbing Westward song.
Yeah.
It was like really different from what they do, and I kind of enjoyed the fact that it focused so heavily on the singer's vocals.
Yeah, they went from like industrial music to like this is just like power pop, and it's like not bad power pop.
Not at all.
But yeah,
But that's the thing, is that like it's still not Stabbing Westward. It's just like the guys in Stabbing Westward doing a song that they liked.
but I feel
So
like
I don't know if I forgive them for that.
I feel like Bizarre Love Triangle is just one of those songs that I've heard so many covers of, and it just works in whatever genre you do it in, as long as you're like pumping the brakes on getting too insane. You know what I mean? Like it's got a good melody line, so it's gonna work as long as you stick with that melody line.
I don't know. I'll believe you, but I'm not going to listen to the other covers of it.
Fine, whatever. 99 Red Balloons, Goldfinger. We got some memories about this band for sure.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I fucking love Goldfinger so much. You know, the thing about this song, though, is that this is probably one of my least favorite punk covers because, again, of oversaturation. I mean, I love Goldfinger. I loved this cover the first time I heard it, and then I heard it on every... You know, I don't even know how I heard it so much. I think it was like
People
when I went to
latched onto
college.
this. Like
Yes.
when I was in a band.
I don't think the people even liked 99 Red Balloon, or people that didn't even like Goldfinger were like, I love his cover.
Yeah.
And it's not even that. It's just a straight cover with distortion. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's very faithful to the original. They even do a verse in German, which I think is one of the reasons why people like it so much, is that like they're like, hey, like this song was released as an English song and as a German song, and they actually pay tribute to both versions, which is different. But yeah, it's not.
I mean, it's probably the first punk cover I heard, so
Yeah.
I'll always have a love for it.
And I remember my first. Actually, it was my second band, but my second band, we wanted to cover this. We never did, but it was like one of those songs that we always was like, we should cover 99 Red Balloons by Goldfinger.
Was that Mad Cow? Because it seems like a Mad Cow cover.
Yeah, it was an off the wall cover. Mad Cow
Gotcha.
was the first band.
Ah. Mad Cow
Mad
was
Cow-
awesome.
No, Off the Wall was awesome. Mad Cow lasted like 3 shows.
Nick,
I thought you were going to say it lasted 2 practices in one show.
listen, Nick Bisello wearing a cow costume was awesome.
That is true. Well, and that was
And where did Matt get that idea from? I don't know, maybe Bad Channels.
well, no, that was I had joined the band when they were already Mad Cow. They asked me to be their singer because they didn't have a singer, and it was my friends Matt, Nick, and this kid AJ on drums, and like the band never worked out because AJ was one of those dudes who just like all he listened to was like prog rock, and the other 2 dudes were like,
You guys want to do a Dream Theater
well,
cover
that's
or
the thing.
what?
He had like every Dream Theater album, but like myself, Matt, and Nick were like full like ska punk kids. So like we wanted to do these covers, and it was just a styles clash. It never worked out. But we won our battle of the bands in high school. But like, here's the thing: the only song that we could play was "When I Come Around" by Green Day because we practiced it. We were like, we've got to master this for this battle of the bands. And we didn't realize that what happened when you won the battle of the bands, was that you were playing the school like field day the next morning.
Oh shit!
Like in 20 minutes.
Did you do the Montel Jordan like this is how we do it twice in a row thing?
Just wung it, and I still have some of that footage on a VHS
Wung it?
tape.
I think you mean winged it.
No, we wung it.
You wung it.
We definitely wung it. Winged it would give us too much credit.
I do got to give a huge shout out to Nick Vasella, by the way, because that dude got very, very bad on heroin.
And now
ruined
it's
his
just
life.
jacked and, like,
He's a
living-
father now. He's completely changed his life around. He looks great. Huge shout out to Nick Vasella.
I love Nick, and he listens to the show. Nick, thanks for listening.
Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry we used your last name.
No,
And
it's fine.
I hope you made it this far with all the jokes that I made about heroin. But I also was there with you, so.
No, Nick. When I had my class reunion, he was talking to me about episodes of Horror Movie Night. He's like, "Oh my god, the episode you did on this was so funny." I was like, "Oh man, he listens." That's so, like, it was so touching.
Isn't that so heartwarming?
Yeah.
It's like the absolute fucking best when someone that you grew up with listens and doesn't tell you until like later on, and you're like, ah!
Yeah, but no, Nick, Matt, and I formed a band after that called Off the Wall, where I played drums and did the vocals.
Oh my god, did you just do covers of From Autumn to Ashes?
No,
or what?
we wrote originals. We put out like a full length.
Oh my god, how have I not heard this?
Oh, I've played it for you once before. It's trash.
Bullshit.
But
bullshit.
One of the times you were in like my old place, I played it for you. But we could do a whole episode of just reviewing that if you wanted. It's trash. But
oh my god, dude. We have nothing but time in quarantine. We're doing it.
But I remember that the big thing that we did was to symbolize that Mad Cow was dead and Off the Wall was back. Was that we bought a stuffed cow animal and had it dangling from a noose above the stage of our first show.
So how bad did you guys ape Guar?
Not that much. We were definitely just doing pop punk stuff from that point on. It was literally Nick
with
had
a Guar motif.
well, like literally, it was just that Nick had a cow costume, and they're like, "Well, if you wear it when you play bass, we'll call ourselves Mad Cow."
That's the most high school 2000 thing I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, no, that was all it was. But you know, it is what it is. Moving on, Mess.
Where the fuck are we anymore?
We're
Oh
on
my
Mess.
God.
I Melt With
Which
You,
is the second biggest. I think this is the second biggest song from this soundtrack, in my opinion.
I feel like
right?
this is a song that gets covered way too fucking much at this point.
And this song has never been good. I'm going to put my foot down and say that Melt With You is a fucking garbage song.
I'm going to lift your foot up and say that you are wrong, and the best cover of it is done on an accordion in Whatever It Takes.
I agree.
Shit! Okay, you know what? I rescind. I take it back.
And you know, just because fuck Mest, you know, lead singer murdered a dude. So
Wait, are you kidding that Tony Lovato killed somebody?
yeah, you've never heard that story?
No.
I was a huge fan of Mest, and I knew that they broke up, but I did not know. I thought that he came back, he found Jesus, and he came back, and then that was it. But you're saying he fucking murdered somebody?
So on 2007, he was released from jail, and the homicide charges against him were dropped. We determined
That means he didn't murder someone, dude.
No. They decided that it was in self-defense. Supposedly, the quote-unquote self-defense was that they were arguing in a bar, and he told them to take it outside, and then they went into a dark area of the parking garage, and the guy was stabbed to death.
Holy fuck, Tony Lovato stabbed someone to death. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I will accept that is true, because you know what? Like, he's always seemed like a D-bag to me, and I was pretty upset when they came back with Not What You Expect, I think is what that record was called, and it was all about Jesus. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is not what Mess is about. It's about girls and drinking. Stop it.
So you're saying that it was not what you expected?
It was not what I expected. It was fucking way worse.
Oh no, Scott, you've gone robot again.
Yeah. Yeah, keep talking bad about God. See what happens.
Oh god, you sound terrifying.
You sound like Zelda Rubinstein.
God is dead.
Hey, you're back.
Oh.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I'm normal?
Yeah. All right.
All I had to do was double
Yeah,
fake hate
you
God.
got to double down on it.
So let's talk about a song that I think is really good. I don't remember how I feel about this cover. Let me give it a second. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Good Charlotte covering If You Leave, which is such an underrated 80s teen flick song. But
what was it originally in? Was it in
Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink, thank you. I thought so. I love this song. I fucking hate Good Charlotte, and it's not because they're not like entertaining. It's because of how intentionally annoying he makes his voice, especially in this song.
Oh, he's so nasally. It's like obnoxious.
He wants to be Mike Herrera. He wants to be a parody of Mike Herrera.
Yo,
you know,
100%.
Like, I love Mike Herrera, but like I can listen to MXPX from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and be okay. If I listen to 2 Good Charlotte songs, I'm like, I hate pop.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Well, you know, Mike Herrera, who's also just making this lockdown so much easier with his weekly, like, hour-long acoustic concerts on YouTube.
Yeah, if you guys aren't watching that shit, you're missing out. He did a cover of No Cigar that is banging.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know
by
what?
Millencolin. If you don't know Millencolin, you need to listen to some Millencolin.
I gotta check that out.
Brian, do you not know who Millencolin is? Dude?
I know who Millencolin is.
Okay, whew, I got really worried for a second. I was going to kick you off the show until next week.
Well, let's dive into the shortest song on the album. Whoop.
Do you forget that when I was a
Who your brother
kid,
is?
what my favorite video game was as a kid?
Tony Hawk.
So yes, I know that song.
Was No Cigar on Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I never played it. I didn't have a PS. Was that PS1
Yeah.
or PS2?
Yeah.
That was on PS1 and N64.
Dude, how
I
about
didn't
that
have either of
snowboarding
those.
game we sent you for the PlayStation?
No, I think what's funnier is I loved Cool Borders, but you guys also sent me the Razor game that was like a complete ripoff of Tony Hawk.
Yeah, the Razor Scooter video game.
There was a Razor R-A-Z-R
Yeah.
Razor.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a,
Oh, they made a video game of that shit.
yeah, and like the characters were very similar to like how we characters look. Like they didn't put a lot of money into it.
All right, we're almost done. We're almost through the soundtrack. I know Brian's got to give Jade some attention, and I've got food waiting for me. So the shortest track, we've got a cover of, I want to say it's The Smiths. Please, 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 let
Give
me
me
get
what I want.
Let me get
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
want
yeah.
by The Muse.
It's by Muse, dude. You know, this is the best song on the album. I will not budge. This is the best cover. Muse is the best band that has no place on this record because they're so fucking good.
They
And I
really
also-
stick out like a sore thumb among the rest of these artists,
Yeah,
honestly.
I truly, and I was talking to Megan about this last night while we were making food, because I was thinking about I was thinking about Muse, and I was saying to her, how did Muse get popular? Because he's got like this crazy vibrato, like operatic voice, and then the bass. It's such a bass-heavy band, and all the bass is like the thickest fucking fuzz-faced bass tone you've ever fucking heard.
Yeah,
it's almost synthy.
it's
But
very,
they
like-
got so huge.
It's very like they have a well-produced like Neutral Milk Hotel vibe. Like you listen to like Neutral Milk Hotel stuff that's not the acoustic stuff, and it's just fuzzy bass and like a very weird bordering on falsetto vocal line. Like it's very not radio friendly, and somehow they made it radio friendly.
I don't know, but I'm so happy that Muse got big, and I'm so happy that they were on this soundtrack because I don't remember it from the movie. I actually don't remember half the songs from the movie. I think that this was the first time I heard most of these songs, actually.
I honestly think that like 3 of these, I think Bizarre Love Triangle, I think the If You Leave, and this last one, Somebody's Baby, performed by Phantom Planet.
Oh, by
Dude,
Phantom
I
Planet.
do like that. I do
I
like
was gonna
that
say-
a lot.
I think they're all just from like the chase scene when they're trying to get Lainey before she gets to the airport.
Oh, on the plane, yeah. And I gotta tell you about Somebody's Baby. That is my all-time favorite 80s ballad. Like, it is such a good song, and Phantom Planet's cover is so good. I love that song, and I love their cover of it too.
It's been so long since I saw it, but I'm pretty sure the girl loses her virginity to that song.
It's
Yeah.
Fast Times.
In Fast
It's Fast
Yeah.
Times at Ridgemont High, yeah.
You know who this is? You know who wrote that song, Brian, right?
Who?
Jackson Brown.
It's Jackson Brown,
Yeah,
yeah.
which was Aunt Lisa's like all-time favorite musician, and I don't think he ever put this on an album. Like I think it
Yeah, he
literally
did.
was recorded.
It's on an album.
Oh, it is? Okay, I thought it was recorded
Yeah,
just
I
for
have
Fast
it on-
Times.
It might have been, but I actually have a vinyl of it. It might have been like a "These Are My Hits" kind of thing, because I also love Linda Ronstadt, and all of her best songs are very similar in that they are on albums that they're like released later on albums that are just kind of compilations.
Yeah, I just checked. It was recorded specifically for Fast Times, but it is on pretty much all of his greatest hits albums now.
Because it's his best song.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like a lot of. It's none of his other music sounds like this. He's definitely definitely like a Billy Joel-esque guy sitting behind a piano writing like 8-minute long ballads. Not writing like 3-minute pop songs is not his bread and butter. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful cover, great version. Phantom Planet is a band that's got some pretty good hits, honestly.
And it's got what's his face?
Jason Schwartzman on drums.
Yeah, well, at that time, I'm pretty sure he was on this recording, but I know that he left eventually because he got too popular doing, Wes Anderson movies, right?
Yeah, well, acting in general, but yeah, mostly that Wes Anderson style. So the only other things that were in the movie that didn't really make it on the soundtrack were just used for parody purposes. So there was the My Hero song by the Foo Fighters shows up for the Varsity Blues scene. Kiss Me from Sixpence None the Richer. Bad Ronald's song Let's Begin is played at the party scene, which is a really good song by a band that no one remembers. And of course, the biggest upset on the soundtrack is not including the Prom Tonight musical number.
Yeah, why wouldn't
Oh my
they?
god. I just need to watch this movie. It's so bad and so good.
Do you know who wrote Prom Tonight? Because this makes me so happy in my soul. It was written by Ben Folds, and it.
Oh my god! Are you serious?
Yeah, it shows. It's like it's got such a Ben Folds vibe in the way that the music goes. The scene in the restaurant is the best part in that song, as far as I'm concerned.
No, that's not the best part.
I find a girl that I love the most. I just jerked off in your French toast.
So I have this what-song.com with all of this. It's a complete list of songs, and so it's a bunch of shit that I didn't know was somewhere in the movie. And I'm just gonna really like rapid fire it through. Rebel Girl by Bikini Kill.
Makes sense. That's when she's painting.
It says kids steal food as Ben fakes having a heart attack in a grocery store.
I mean, maybe it's there too, but it's definitely when she's slapping the paint all over the canvas.
And she's crying. And I mean, I fucking love Notting Hill movie. It's so good. And then we have, the ones I'm going to talk about are the ones that that are worth mentioning. There's a bunch of shit that I don't give a fuck about, but Sprung Monkey apparently did that cover of "Don't You Forget About Me."
Oh shit!
And it's not on the official soundtrack, but I'm pretty sure that's at the end, right?
I'm sure it's somewhere in there.
It's somewhere, but I specifically remember that cover. And then it says "Turning Japanese" by Face to Face, but I know that the cover of "Turning Japanese" that I have on my computer from like 2002 is by No Use for a Name. So I don't know if they both did it or if mine is wrong and it was actually Face to Face, but it sounds like Tony Sly to me. So I don't know. And then we have like we have Janie's Got a Gun by Aerosmith. That's just Chris Evans yelling it when he's on the bleachers. Kiss Me is in it apparently, which doesn't make any sense because it was already in.
Well, that's why.
Because it's when she falls down the stairs.
Yeah, they play it when she's coming down the stairs. That's what I mean. Like that and the My Hero are literally just used to be sound cues for the scene that they're making fun of.
I guess, but I don't know. Like
it's too on the nose.
Yes, exactly. And oh, dude, have you guys ever heard the No Motive cover of Space Age Love Song?
Yes, it's so good.
I didn't even know that they had covered that song because obviously it's not like anywhere in the movie that I'd remember.
I think it's on the not Punk Goes 80s. I think it's on Before You Were Punk Volumes 1 or 2, like the Fat Record 80s tribute albums.
Let me see. Because I have it on my computer because I was a huge No Motive fan. I got to see them. I had a really rough 10 months in 2003, I want to say it was, and I actually leaned really heavy on No Motive, which is a band that I can't believe I've never mentioned on here. And I loved their first two records and the Sadness. Well, it's not their first two, but the two major labels and the Sadness Prevails and Diagram for Healing. Such good records. I do have Space Age Love Song on my iTunes, but it's not named as like a.
It is.
What it's
I
from,
just looked up on the wiki. It's from Before You Were Punk, Volume 2, a punk rock tribute to New Wave that had Suicide Machines covering What I Like About You, No Motive doing Space Age Love Song, MXPX doing No Action by Elvis Costello, the
Which is weird.
Hippos doing Our Lips Are Sealed by the Go-Go's was on there.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
Up Kids did Close to Me by The Cure. Lagwagon did Bring on the Dancing Horses by Echo and the Bunnyman. Strung Out doing Every Breath You Take, and All doing Rebel Yell.
I didn't know that Strung Out did that cover. I'll have to look it up because I love me some Strung Out.
But no.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's worth mentioning, except for I guess that shit, I closed out. Good Charlotte did another cover for this. I don't remember what it was.
They did Put Your Hand on My Shoulder.
Yeah,
that's right.
Put your heads on my shoulder.
You can't find that cover. I did actually really like that for the 2 seconds it was in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I've said before, I would love for there to be a band. Scott was almost there. a band that literally just did pop punk covers of exclusively 50s rock songs because they fit like bread and butter. Like it just would work so well.
Last anecdote, and I promise I'll let you guys get to your real lives. For once, I'm the one keeping us on the line. So I have to tell you guys, one of the most embarrassing moments of my punk rock youth. So I was a senior in high school, and this was I might have been a junior in high school. I was a junior in high school, okay? So I was a junior in high school visiting my sister at college. She had transferred to a liberal arts college away from a state college. And I met her friend Bean. That was his nickname. I don't know his real name. But he was a real punk rocker, all right? And this was 2000. This was either 1999 or 2000, depending on what time of year it was. So I meet him and I say, "Oh, I love punk rock." And he's like, "Cool. Do you like old school or new school?" And my brain races because one, there was no like internet to tell me. There was internet, but no internet to tell me what old school versus new school was. I had no friends that liked punk rock except for like me. And so I was listening to like Hopeless Records, Epitaph, Tooth and Nail, and whatever I could get my hands on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the difference. And I immediately thought, oh, MXPX sounds like 50s rock. So I'm going to say old school punk rock. And I said, oh, yeah, I love like old school punk rock that sounds like 50s music, you know, like MXPX. And he was like, dude, that's new school. Old school is like, you know, Sex Pistols. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm a child.
Yeah, I was literally, there were no resources for me to know what old school versus new school punk rock was. And this guy fucking shit all over my face. And I actually think I blushed. I was so embarrassed. And I've never been able to forget it. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night during this fucking quarantine and I'm like, oh God, there was that time that I embarrassed myself in front of a punk rocker.
And then you told the story to everybody to hear on Soundtracking. We'll be back at some point with another episode of Soundtracking. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.